Hi everybody, I promised some sample questions, so here they are. First, this one, and I want you to, I've got the same options, but different questions up at the top, so I want you to take a minute, and I'll read these to you, and then you put the answer, and then I'll explain the right and wrong answers. So, first question, which of the following shows, oops, sorry, made a typo there, the weakest relationship between two variables? So which of those shows the weakest relationship? Either the negative 0.17, the positive 0.002, the negative 0.90, the positive 0.76, or the positive 0.22. Weakest relationship between two variables. So write down A, B, C, D, or E, and now I would like you to tell me which one is the strongest or the most predictive correlation coefficient in these. Negative 1.7, positive 0.002, negative 0.9, positive 0.76, or positive 0.22. The answer for the weakest would be the 0.002 because that is the closest to zero. And remember, if it's closest to zero, it's no relationship. The further away it gets, the stronger it is. Negative 1.7 will not be an answer because it doesn't say Dr. So-and-so made a mistake. So that one should automatically be thrown out unless I asked which correlation coefficient shows a mistake, or I said which of the following is not a correlation coefficient. So that should be gone. Strongest, most predictive would be the negative 0.9 because it's closest to 1. Then the next question, which of the following variables are probably positively correlated? And then I want you to, one of them's positive, one of them's negative, and one is not correlated at all. So take a second to figure out which one you think is positive, negative, and zero correlation. Okay, I think the easiest one in here is probably not correlated, and that would be the number of letters in your last name and your height. It doesn't matter how many letters you have in your last name, that does not have an impact on how tall you are. So those two would probably have a correlation coefficient of close to zero. Exercise and body fat. The more you exercise, so remember we're going to use our thumbs, the more you exercise, the lower your body fat, so that would be a negative correlation coefficient. More and less. Okay? So even though it's a good thing to exercise, the negative has nothing to do with good and bad. It just has to do with whether the two things move together or they move apart. Is it an inverse relationship or not? And then B, time spent brushing your teeth and oral health. The more time you spend brushing your teeth, the better your oral health, so they move together, so that would be positive. Or it could be the less time you spend brushing your teeth, the less healthy your mouth is, and that would still be a positive correlation because they're moving down together. Okay, next one. Relationship between exercise and the likelihood of having a heart attack is probably what? Positive, negative, zero, or perfect? The amount of time spent exercising and the likelihood of having a heart attack. That one would be negative, because the more time you spend exercising, the less likely you would be to have a heart attack. So it would be negative, B. Next one, what would the relationship between dating and extroversion probably be? Positive, negative, zero, or perfect? That one's probably positive, because the more extroverted you are, the more likely you are to probably meet more people and to have the nerve to actually ask people out. So that's probably positive. The less extroverted you are, the less you would likely date, because you would be less likely to meet as many people, and you would be less likely to have create the nerve to ask people out. Time working at your job and your GPA. More time at your job, lower GPA would tend to be. So negative time studying in GPA. More time, higher grades, less time, lower grades. Smoking and lung disease. That's actually, which sounds really odd, but that's actually a positive correlation. The more you smoke, the more likely you are to have lung disease, or the less you smoke, the less likely you are to have lung disease. So it's still a positive correlation, not good and bad, just moving together or apart. And then last one, smoking and respiratory health. And that would be an inverse relationship or a negative. The more time you spend smoking, the less respiratory health you have, or vice versa. The less time you spend smoking, the more respiratory health you have. Then if you watch this video, put a note in the assignment 1. So just go to the assignments thing and just put a note and say, I did these questions, and I'll give you an extra credit point on your discussion for this week, week 3. Okay, have a great day. Bye.